From Mencari Newsroom at redmencari.com.
Good morning, I'm Mika Santos. On today's rundown, Friday, May 16. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Mika Santos. Senator Larissa Waters has been elected unopposed as the new leader of the Australian Greens. Waters, a former environmental lawyer, becomes the fifth leader in the party history and the first Queenslander to hold the position.
I am just so thrilled to have had the support of my colleagues to be the leader of the Australian Greens. I'm the fifth leader of our wonderful party, and I pay tribute to all of our previous leaders. And I really want to thank my party room colleagues for their support today. It's never been more important to have a strong Greens team in Parliament. The issues that people are facing are getting harder and are getting worse. We need strong action on the climate, on nature, on the housing crisis, on the cost of living crisis, and we need our Parliament to work to actually meet the needs of the people that it's been elected to represent.
In her first address as a leader, Waters outlined the party's priority, including climate action, housing affordability, and a cost of living pressure. She also called for what she termed as a progressive parliament and the politics with heart. Waters replaced Adam Banth, who stepped down from the leadership role. The party also elected Senator Mehreen Faruqi as deputy leader and Senator Sarah Hanson-Young as the manager of business in the Senate. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has arrived in Indonesia for the first bilateral visit since winning re-election, emphasizing the importance of relationship between the two nations.
It is wonderful to be back here in Indonesia for my fourth visit as Prime Minister, but my first bilateral visit of the second term. I chose Indonesia as the destination for this first visit very consciously, just as I did after the 2022 election. The relationship between Australia and Indonesia is so important. Important for our defence and security, important for our economic future, and important for the region. Indonesia will grow to be the fifth largest economy in the world by the end of the next decade. What that represents is an enormous opportunity to grow our economic relationships, which is why in our first term we commissioned Nicholas Moore to do the Southeast Asia Economic Strategy to 2040. What that did was outline the series of opportunities that will be there for investment in Southeast Asia, but also for investment back in Australia, for improving the relationships between our two great nations.
During his address in Jakarta, Albanese highlighted Indonesia's economic growth, projecting it will become the fifth largest economy in the world by the end of the next decade. He described this as an enormous opportunity to strengthen economic relationship between the nation. The Prime Minister is accompanied by Foreign Minister Penny Wong and Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke. Their discussion with Indonesian President Prabowo are focusing on defense cooperation, economic partnership, and regional security. In Australia, Acting Prime Minister Richard Marles has defended the recent cabinet reshuffle following public criticism from former Industry Minister Ed Husic. Husic publicly labeled Marles as a factional assassin, an accusation Marles has rejected.
Obviously, what is difficult processes in terms of choosing a ministry. It is a collective process. One of the challenges we have, but it's a good challenge, is that we have a caucus which is filled with talented people, and there are so many people who would be able to admirably perform the role of ministers who are not ministers. But it is a difficult process to choose a ministry, and that's what we've gone through. What I would say is I'm really confident about the ministry that has been chosen and the way in which it's going to perform on behalf of the Australian people.
When pressed about his role in the factional decision, Marles refused to elaborate on the internal process but acknowledged the contribution of those who lost ministerial position, including Hosik and former Attorney General Mark Dreyfus. Still on Indonesia, Australia continues to strengthen defense ties with Indonesia amid regional security concern, with both countries emphasizing cooperation over shared challenges. Security expert Susan Patton from the Louis Institute say this agreement represents a significant step forward in bilateral election.
So I think, of course, national security will be taken from a really broad perspective, and the fact that we've got Tony Burke accompanying the Prime Minister, I think, sends a strong signal that Australia is interested in cooperating on security issues, law enforcement, etc., with Indonesia. So that's definitely positive. On the defence side, last year the two countries signed a new defence cooperation agreement, which was a bit of a landmark because it opened the way for the two countries to do many more exercises and training on each other's territories, so it could facilitate or expedite the entry and exit of defence personnel between the two countries. So I think that's something really important to see concrete implementation of.
The agreement facilitates greener interoperability between Australia and Indonesia Defence Force and comes at the time of increasing strategic competition in the region. When questioned about potential Russian influence in the region, Prime Minister Albanese emphasized Australia will continue to invest in our capability and strengthen security arrangements with regional partners, including Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and the Philippines. That's our today's rundown for Friday, May 16. I'm Miko Santos. Stay with us for more coverage through the evening. Don't forget becoming a paid subscriber to support us. Head over to readmencari.com.
Subscribe to Mencari for news with authentic Gen X perspective, cutting through the noise with zero fluff. Available now across all podcast platforms. News without the noise, perspective without the panic.